I have with me today Sheena Yap Chan, and I'm so excited because we don't know each other. So this is really fun. I always like meeting new people. And I was so intrigued when you reached out to me to be a part of my Facebook Live because you are a blogger, a podcast aficionado. I love that. A consultant, an author, and you're your whole focus is on reaching out and giving voice to Asian women. And I love that because, I think that we started to see an uptake in Asian women in films about a year or two ago. And it was really nice because I think it's really important that we see Asian women, Black women. It's just the diversity. So when I was reading about you and that your mission is really to do that, I was like, I want to talk to you because I applaud you. You're an Asian woman. You're using your platform, and so really, other than being an Asian woman and saying like, okay, why why was it important to you? What was there something missing, I'm gonna guess?
For sure. And first off, thanks for having me on your Facebook Live. I truly appreciate it. And thanks to everyone who's tuning in today or catching the replay. So, growing up in Toronto, Canada, I never saw anybody that looked like me. So, I never thought I was beautiful. I thought being Asian was a curse. And I wanted to change my name to Heather because I wanted to have blonde hair and blue eyes like everything I saw on TV. And that to me was huge because part of that, it also made me less confident about myself,
Mhm.
less confident about my culture, less confident about my looks. And so this is why representation is so important because I don't want future generations to realize that they're not worthy because they don't have blonde hair and blue eyes. Instead, they have smaller eyes and black hair and with fair skin, right? So it's really important to me to have a voice and to represent Asian women and to also showcase other Asian women who are going out there forging their own path
Mhm.
and succeeding because all our lives we've been taught to just go to school, get a job, get married and never rock the boat. And
Mm.
because of that, so many women suffer. So many women suffer from confidence issues, not seeing their worth, not being able to make a decision for themselves. And that's really like what I go through. And I
No,
realized,
but it's so interesting what our culture, because that probably came from, not just your grandmother, but her mother before that, probably your own mother, and our culture, regardless of our looks, our culture dictates to start with,
oh yeah,
so much of what we do.
oh yeah,
And so it's very brave to say, you know, I'm going to do this. And it goes against the cultural norms. Um, and not everyone your age is also breaking free. So you have that dynamic of your mother, your grandmother, but then probably even your own age group saying, what's she doing? And there might be even that backlash of jealousy in there, like where they might want to do it, but they're not as brave as you, or and maybe not everybody wants to, you know, but there is that sort of balance.
yeah, for sure. And I mean, for me, I always craved that representation. I was like, why isn't there anybody that looks like me who are going out there and doing amazing things? Or
Mhm.
why aren't I hearing about it? And I realized instead of complaining we need more representation, I realized I had to be that representation. And it's not easy going out there trying to create a platform and create a voice, especially when
Mhm.
you feel like you're all alone at doing this. And especially when it came to creating a podcast, I mean, there wasn't a lot of Asian people podcasting. I could probably count like five people who were doing it.
Mhm.
And so that was like something new, something different, and something out of like the ordinary. But I realized if I wanted something, I had to start with me. And a lot of people don't realize like if they crave for representation or crave for that change, it really has to start with themselves. And I know it's
Mhm.
easier said than done because like taking action on something that you want to do is hard. Like it's not hard, it's scary, right? But I want people to realize, especially women, that they're more than capable to go out there and do it. It's just that fear of imposter syndrome and not feeling good enough is what holds us back. And
How did and then how did you get started? Like what was your jump in?
I think it was like, actually, to be honest, it was when my aunt passed away almost 10 years ago. She passed away from a horrific accident. And it made me realize how short life is and that we only have one life to live and we never know when that moment will be gone. And I didn't want to live like a zombie. I don't know if maybe living like a zombie is the term, but I just felt like I would wake up, go to work one Monday to Friday, come back home and just repeat it every single day. I mean, I would like drive to work, and when I got there, I would like look at my surroundings and be like, how did I get here so quick? I don't know if
Mhm.
anyone ever felt like that. I know I did. And even just being in like my little cubicle or my little office space at the time, I always kept thinking this wasn't for me. Like I couldn't see myself working in an office till I retired. Like it just didn't make sense to me, right? I'm not saying people who have jobs like is bad. If you love your job, that's great. There's a lot of people out there who love their jobs, but if you know that this isn't your path, like some the universe is trying to tell you, or your gut feeling is trying to tell you something. And it's not easy. I know, because even though I was thinking about it, I was still scared to go out there and, forge my own path because, like I mentioned, we were taught to just live this one way of life because that's all they thought was that road to success. But things change, environment changes. We all are different people. We're not the same. And so sometimes it just takes a little step by step. Maybe it's just like doing something on the side or reading a book or connecting with like minded people. But I think when my aunt passed away, it was just a really huge, like, wow, I really need to do something that would make me happy first off, because nobody teaches us to go do something that makes you happy. Most of the time, most of the
Yeah.
time,
Oh, sorry.
it's okay. Most of the time, we're just taught to, oh,
Shoot. I don't know why it answered. Sorry.
it's okay. It's all
We're,
good.
that's what happens when we're live.
It's all good. I mean, we're at home, things happen, but most of the time, we're just taught to please other people and make themselves happy before putting our own happiness first. And
Yeah.
actually, that's wrong. We should put our happiness first, because when we're happy and we feel good, that cup overflows and it passes on to people around you. And
What do you think you've learned? I mean, it's amazing that your aunt was sort of that inspiration, and I love that. But like, what do you think you learn from people that you've talked to? Because now they're sort of like-minded people like you, or eh, and I don't want to say they look like you because I think that's just wrong. You
yeah.
know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you know, because they're Asian, they're not you. I mean, you've set a platform to give voice to an Asian women community, and I love that. But you didn't set out to go, oh, I want to, you wanted to give a voice to it. But what do you think you've learned now that you're talking to women in a culture that's like you?
I realized that I wasn't the only one who's going through the issues that I was going through, because a lot of us feel like we're the only person who's going through that. And I realized life is messy. So
Yes, life is messy.
life is messy because we always feel like we have to put up this picture perfect life on social media, but really life is a
Yes.
hot mess. And just being able to push through all the challenges and roadblocks we go through makes us makes us realize that like this is real life. Real life isn't always like looking perfect all the time. It's just being able to get back up even when you fall down. Like I remember seeing this like post on Facebook, and they said 2020 will be some of the people's best year. They're going to be talking about what they achieved in 2020 during the pandemic, but
Mm-hmm.
also a reminder, just getting through the month of December is an accomplishment on its own. So just that's just a great reminder that just because someone's doing something great, just you getting through the month is also an achievement on its own. Especially being in lockdown and being in the pandemic, our mental health issues have heightened, right? And if
100%.
you live in a cold country like or state like
Like
Michigan and like
Michigan and
Toronto,
Toronto,
I mean
we're hibernating. We've
the
gone into
winter
hibernation.
yeah, the winter months are crucial. I mean, our mental
Yeah.
health escalates, right? So just getting through the month is an achievement on its own. And you just need to give yourself a pat on the back, a hug, a high five, whatever
Yeah.
it is. And so I know we're so prone to like comparing ourselves to others and getting jealous and be like, oh, how is she doing it? And I'm not doing it. Instead of doing that, we just say, good for you, because I believe a win for one woman is a win for all women. And so instead of getting jealous, we just use that as inspiration. Like if she was able to get out of of her worst situation and still can stand up and thrive, then it's possible for us.
I love that. Do you hope um, that there are the Asian celebrity community watching you, hearing you? Um, because, like I said, or I started to say, you know, we fall into stereotypes. We do, and there was, an emergence of movies that came out, and other movies that are, coming out, and I love that in Hollywood. Like it was this recognition of, taking hold and giving different looking people jobs, and I was like, okay, as you said, the blonde hair, blue eyed. Nothing against blonde hair, blue eyed, my
Nothing
friend,
against it, for sure.
right? But just different looks for getting jobs. So I wonder, like, in the space that you're creating, are you hoping that some of the celebrity-esque people will cheer you on as well?
Of course. I
Yeah.
mean, I look up to them because they've been able to create so many doors for other people. I mean,
Mhm.
I recently interviewed an actress who's been a Chinese actress who's been in the industry for over 50 years. And I was just in awe of what she's been able to do, because being an Asian girl in like the 60s and 70s and telling your parents you want to become an actress is
Wow.
like a death sentence.
Right. I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
But
Like,
but she paved the way. Like she opened the door for so many people. She got to work with Elvis Presley. I mean, who else can say I got to work side by side with Elvis Presley? Nobody, like hardly anybody. I mean, it's that alone is an achievement, right? And so, yeah, I hope they do hear me because I look up to
well,
them.
I do too. I do too. What really inspires you? Like, what's been your inspiration and your drive? Because some days are just hard, like you
Yeah,
said.
it is hard. Trust me, there's days when I want to throw this laptop against the wall.
100%. I hear you.
But I think it's just getting back to why I do it. What is the core message? What is my purpose? And also, when I get messages from people who listen to my podcast and they tell me how it's helped them become a public speaker or turn their side hustle into a full-time business, that really gives me inspiration for my own journey, because it's like I didn't realize this was that life-changing.
Oh, I
And
love
so
that.
just going back to things like that. And it's not even like, oh, because I was named this or named that. It's just really how it can change one person, because all it
Mhm.
takes is one person. And if you can change one person's life, you're capable of doing the same thing over and over and over again.
Well, it's one of the reasons I love doing these little FaceTime lives. I really want to share people's stories, and I'm so glad you're not that far away. We just can't seem to get over the border yet.
Yeah.
I'm hoping soon. Sheena, how do people find you? What is the best way to find you, listen to you? Because I really want people to learn more about you.
Well, thank you for that. And honestly, if you Google Sheena Yap Chan, I'm like the only Sheena Yap Chan on the internet. So that's one good thing. Other than that, you can also check out my website, sheenayapchan.com. I offer confidence coaching. Um, coaching with people for women who need self-confidence coaching, because I believe that a lot of us go through a lot of these issues, and sometimes we just need someone to help us rise up or build
100%.
our self-confidence to go out there and forge their own path. Another one is you can check out my podcast, The Tao of Self-Confidence, where I interview Asian women about their journey to self-confidence, and that's on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Play, or you can check out my website at thetaoofselfconfidence.com.
So I'm going to post all those things as I post, repost this. It's such a pleasure to meet you
Same
and
here.
be able to have some time to talk to you today. I appreciate all that you're doing. I think you're really paving a really incredible path. And so I'm so blessed that we got this time together.
Same here. I appreciate your time.
All right, well, stay warm and have a great holiday.
You too.
All right, take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.